Hello and welcome to another episode of What Do You Call It podcast. I'm your host, GB. Today's episode is very special. So, the reason I say special is usually if a guest returns to the podcast, I say today's guest doesn't need an introduction because you already know who they are or may be familiar with them. But I think the violent gentleman, Miles Blackwell, would still like another intro just because of who he is. If you don't already follow him, and then you do follow him, you're going to see why. So today's guest is an Oasis fanatic, Bob Vance challenger, and the current CCW heavyweight champion. Please welcome back Miles Blackwell. How you doing today, mate? You all good?
I'm great, man. It's a pleasure to be here. Definitely top podcast. I've been waiting to get back on for a while, and big supporter of the show, and just glad to be a part of it once again.
Do appreciate it, mate. Been wanting you on for a while now. I've actually had people on that know you, and I'm going to touch on that very quickly. Bryce Maddox, a friend of the show. Sorry. I know I'm starting off by maybe shit stirring and stirring the pot a little bit, but he is a friend of the show, and he's someone that you unfortunately have a heated rivalry with. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's just a storyline. Wrestling, we know how it works. These two generally aren't the biggest fans of each other. Bryce let it be known to me before the interview and after the interview. Even said, keep it up. I don't care. Not a big fan of him, but I respect him. But you actually interrupted that interview and you let it be known how you felt. I really enjoyed that, by the way. That's pretty good. The video message you left for me. Shout out to that. But I want to ask you if you can tell the listeners about this heated rivalry. It's been going on for a few years now. Why are you two not each other's biggest fans?
Oh, for me, it's because I hate to say it like this, but I'm the anti-Bryce.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I wasn't. I'm not a college athlete.
Very
I'm
kind of
not
you,
the
mate. Just
all-American. Blue eye. You know what I mean? And just to see that I've been working at this, and I saw him come into CCW,
mm-hmm.
and I kind of felt he was given a lot of things that I had been working for, and so because of that, I just didn't like him. We're not. He's. I hate to bring this up, but he's a bit of a John Cena. You know what I mean? I'm surprised he's not out there wrestling in
He
the
would
jean shorts and
probably
all
take that
that.
as a compliment, but because of who you are, that is not a compliment at all.
Correct. And is he an athlete? Absolutely. Is he a great wrestler? Absolutely. He's just not good enough. Which is why I'm the champion. It's not. But having said that, yeah, behind the scenes, yeah, I respect him, but I don't have to like everyone. And there's just bits and pieces of him that just
Yeah.
get under my skin. So every once in a while, I've got to remind him who's the big dog around there. You know what I mean?
You two respect each other. I know that, but there is that genuine hate that you two have for each other. You've told me how you feel about him in private messages. He's told me, and he let me know on the video. That's why I'm giving you a chance to respond because I've not spoken to you until when's the last time I spoke to you? 2021, I think, near the end of it, when we first had our awesome interview. So, and
Yeah.
the matches you've had and the feud, it is really good, and you can see that that is that real heat that you just can't fake.
Yeah, the locker room's a lot smaller when you don't like the person that's in there. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So you're forced to have interactions, and yeah, have we bumped into each other? Have we seen each other? On the way to
Yeah.
our vehicles and all that. Yeah, but like he said, I'm just not a fan.
Yeah.
I think that I get tired of seeing the fact that even with CCW's posts, they're always mentioning him as the former CCW champion.
Yeah.
Let's focus on me. I'm the current CCW champion, but yet he's the one that's at the autograph signings. He's the one that they bring onto radio spots. He's the one that they feature and they talk about. And I'm the one that beat him. So
Yeah.
where's my praise? Where's my flowers? You know what I mean? So, but it kind of goes back to this. At the end of the day, no matter how good you are at politics, if you're a great wrestler, you can kind of overshadow the politics.
Yeah.
You know, for those who have been in CCW in the past and felt that they didn't get their fair share of their push, maybe you just weren't good enough.
And that actually leads me to my next question. And my next point is those that have been CCW and they've moaned about not getting the push or whatever. Look where you are now. You are the current CCW champion, the world champion. And last time we did speak, you was unpinned. And the Southern States champion. Are you still unpinned, by the way? Just to confirm.
Of course.
My boy Mars has never been pinned. If you do find any evidence of this that he has, it's a lie. It's a lie.
Yeah, I will refute it quickly.
You actually will, mate. You will. But as you're the current CCW heavyweight champion, I want to ask you, how does it feel? You are the top lad. You are representing the promotion. I know you said about Bryce being kind of pushed in that position, but ultimately you are the champion.
How does it feel? I mean, I was top lad when I walked in. I walked in knowing I was going to be that guy. You know what I mean? I knew that I was going to be, I looked around the room and, there's an old story about Larry Bird, who played for the Boston Celtics, walked into a locker room before a 3-point contest. And he said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm looking around to see which one of you is going to come in second place."
Yeah.
And that's kind of the mindset that I have, if you follow me on Twitter, and I know you do, but those who don't know that I put in a lot of work, not just inside the ring, but outside the ring.
Yep.
So when the time came that I did become, the heavyweight champion, I want to say that it was, wow, this is such a big moment. But in my mind, I was like, yeah, it took long enough. And that's because I'm never going to be satisfied, and not from a standpoint of entitlement or gimme, but from a standpoint of,
I've always been this good.
Work. Correct.
It's a bit like what CM Punk said about Kobe Kingston. He said, I'm really happy for him, when he won the title in 2019 at WrestleMania, but that should have been 10 years ago.
Correct.
And you have got your flowers, and you are representing them, and you put on some great matches as well. You actually had a massive title defense last month. Really good match, good finish with the headbutt as well. But I want to know about your goals as the CCW champion, and just any other wrestling goals that you may have in the next year or so.
As far as CCW champion, man, despite what anyone says, even when I was Southern States champion, I am a fighting champion. I defend my title. And it's not from the standpoint of you're a champion, you should, but for me, it's just about a certain dominance. It's about showing that, I'm the champion for a reason. And those of you who get in line, you're going to get knocked out, knocked down, whatever, whatever. And to me, that's my message to you, to work a bit more.
Yeah.
I had a guy after I defended my title last month that said, "I'm coming for your title next." And I had told him, "You can't last 5 minutes in the ring with me because you got no cardio, man." And some might say it was a bit rude to say that, but that's how I feel. And, I'm not here to pretend to be a wrestler. I'm not here to play wrestling. I'm not a parody of a wrestler. I'm a fucking professional wrestler. And if you don't feel that that's something that consumes your mind day in and day out, you don't fucking need to be here. I'm going to do this thing until I'm tits up.
I respect that. And that's what kind of gravitated me to you as a fan, not just because I spoke to you in the past, but because I've kept up to date with you, and not just in your social media, but in your matches. I've seen the improvement and just the daily gym workouts that you do, and just how you've improved your body. You've improved you've added more moves to your moveset, especially with the influence of Nigel McGuinness.
Absolutely, man. I'm really ashamed that I was not familiar with his in-ring work until it was shortly after I, as some people would say, legitimately won the Southern States title last August in 2022. But I started watching him then, and that spoke to me, man. It was like discovering gold. And I've probably went through his entire Ring of Honor catalog multiple times. And, his style of wrestling is exactly what I was looking for. So, yeah, I've nicked half of his moveset, but it's worked out quite well for me.
It has, mate. You've incorporated it very well. I can never forgive, by the way, if you might not remember, Impact Wrestling, when they had Desmond Wolfe, Nigel McGuinness. And I mean, don't get me wrong, started well. I'm not going to be a bit of a fanboy, but I've got to mention it. Absolutely criminal what TNA did. And I love Impact now. I think they've improved. I'm really happy. Great products. But back then, what did Nigel fucking McGuinness? Disgusting. Just had to throw it out there.
Yeah, I agree.
But what I'm going to ask is, last time we did speak, you declared your love for something. And I don't think you've actually said it because it was off the air. And, I'm going to say it now just because the fans, they see it in your tweets. You declared your love for a certain band from the UK. Blur. So... Burglar.
Where's the off button on this thing?
Miles. You're my guest of honor, and I'm happy to have you back. Okay, so because he will actually get fucked off. So I'm just kidding. Oasis, everyone knows it. They follow you, just follow you within a day. They're gonna see you love Oasis. I know that because I talked to you in great detail. So in the last chat we had, you named your favorite Oasis album, your Oasis tattoo, the influence they've had on your life. Discussed the Gallagher brothers. So during the summer, you were lucky enough to see Noel Gallagher, and we exchanged messages. I was super happy for you to see one of the Gallagher brothers in UK. Wow, I want to hear about your experience because I told you about my experience at seeing Liam Gallagher last year at the park. Fantastic, over 100,000 people. One of the best experiences I've ever had. Diamond in the Dark for me, highlight of the set. But Miles, taught me about. So tell me about your experience at Noel Gallagher in America over the summer.
Well, the craziest part about the whole thing was, so we had this day trip planned, and we had to drive to a town called Alpharetta, it's pretty much Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew that the show, the gates open around 5, but there was, Metric was opening, and then Garbage was opening, and then Noel Gallagher, High Flying Birds. So we went to a shopping center, and we walked out, and I could faintly hear in the distance, this was about 1 p.m., I could faintly hear in the distance Pretty Boy playing. I said, who's playing this here? There's people around here don't really know this music.
Yeah.
And so we started following the sound and realized that the amphitheater where he was performing was right up the road. So we followed the sound, and what it was he was doing sound check. And so, so I got out of the vehicle and ran to the gate. I couldn't see him, but I was hearing him, and I was hearing like Half the World Away, little by little. And I was almost shaking because, given how I feel about the whole thing. So
As a passionate Oasis fan,
back.
This feels like a dream.
Correct. It was unreal for a bit. So we went back to the hotel, got dressed and all that, and sat through, not taking anything away from Metric, enjoyed their show, not taking anything away from Garbage. The show was okay, a couple of good songs. But, when you're there for, quote unquote, the main event, and it was just unbelievable. And of course, he saves Don't Look Back in Anger, which is my all-time favorite tune, for the very end of the show. And as soon as those first notes of that song hit, man, it was just like everything in my body just
You're lifted. Gonna deny this, right? But I can tell someone's kind of fibbing me or like telling porkies. Did you cry? Be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, the violent gentleman has a heart. Do you hear that, people?
Yeah, I mean, there are moments when one is overcome with emotion, and that was one of those moments.
Bryce, you've got new material, by the way, Bryce.
You're enjoying this a bit too much, I believe.
But no, don't tell me, man. Like, just tell me about the emotion, man. Like, just being there in attendance. Like, how far were you? You were standing, wasn't you, for Noel Gallagher?
Well, they had like a pit area where people was, I believe they were standing, but we were like 7 rows back from the pit. And it was crazy because I knew pretty much everything he was playing. Yeah. And you could tell those around didn't. And we're talking about, because at that time his Council Skies album had just come out like 2-3 weeks before. Yeah. And so people didn't know it. And then even a lot of them didn't know most of the Oasis stuff.
Were they just like, play Wonderwall?
Nobody asked for that. But the funniest thing about it, and I think you'll get a kick out of this because it's what I walk out to in my matches. At the end of the show, he said, all right, can anybody guess what the next song's going to be, or the last song's going to be? And everybody knew it was Don't Look Back in Anger. There's some geezer about 10 rows back that yells, fuck it out of the bushes. And I lost it. It was really funny to me. But I enjoyed the show. Anybody who's seen their live shows knows that Noel likes to mess around with the crowd a little bit. Yeah. And he even said, like, the first 5 songs are off my new album, which you probably streamed, or you don't know what they are. And then he said something about the 90s was the greatest decade until you, word I'm not allowed to say on this podcast, it starts with a C.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday's ruined it all with your streaming. Man's against streaming.
Millennials. That's it? Millennials? I probably mispronounced that completely. Basically, the Generation Z, what are they called? The fuckers.
That's the fuckers. That's what you can call them.
We can say that word. That's fine. That's all good.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I want to highlight, by the way, I'll go back to wrestling quickly. You had a fan bring a sign for you at one of the biggest pay-per-views of all time. And obviously you lost the bet. Can you just tell, in case they don't follow you, and I'm going to lead them to your social media at the end of the interview, but just tell them about this quick interaction with the fan and what a sign said.
So there was, a supporter of the Violent Gentleman who I also follow this person on Twitter, and they had a poll: what sign should I bring to Wembley? And it was a couple different choices, and then a choice for other.
Yeah.
So I clicked other, and I said, you need to hold up a sign that says Bob Vance, That's Refrigeration Fears Miles Blackwell. And she had said, if I do, you've got to listen to Park Life by Blur in its entirety and make a reaction video. So I kind of saw it as, something.
You still there, Miles? I think you mentioning Blur has actually just caused a glitch in this. No lie.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to burn some sage in my house. You know what I mean? Start smudging the place.
Hello there. I've got a special announcement for my next guest.
Buenos dias, what's going on, people? It's your boy Big Brave Roy Johnson, and I'm here kicking it on the What You Call It podcast.
You heard. Buenos dias. That's actually hello in Spanish, not goodbye. But take care. You heard.
But yeah, long story short, I made a deal that if a sign that's mentioned Bob Vance refrigeration is makes it the reaction video of me listening to a Blur song, and that's what happened. And I posted that video last week. It was painful, made my ears bleed.
It was really fucking funny though. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I don't think you did, but
I didn't.
Your fans, your listeners, and your mates got a kick out of it. So that is what matters. Because deep down, you're a nice guy, right? Right.
Sometimes. I mean, I'm the violent gentleman. There is a gentleman aspect.
Yeah.
Everybody forgets that part. Like you said, your words, not mine. I'm sometimes viewed as a soulless prick. But I am a man of the people.
But that is a compliment, like we said about, like you saying about Bryce being John Cena. Yeah, we're like, thank you. You being a soulless prick. George, you're too kind. You're too kind, mate.
I'll fucking lean into it.
I love it. I love it. You just mentioned him, Bob Vance Refrigeration. So we spoke about this in a bit of detail in the first chat. This has evolved. You're still calling him out every day without fail. And I applaud you, by the way, right? But what a lot of people may have missed or forgotten is we actually got a response from him on social media in a direct message. So your good pal, GB, me, in case anyone got confused then, reached out to him. And I can't remember what my first message was. And he actually replied. If you remember, Miles, what was the message?
He said, I do fear the man bun. And I really feel like he was slagging me off a bit. I don't think he was doing the nice celebrity type thing. I think that he was sitting there in his little room with all his office memorabilia behind him. Phyllis bringing him sweet tea and all that tackle. And I think that he was trying to get at me, knowing that, I don't think he's got any bookings or, like conferences or conventions. That's what I'm looking for. Conventions planned, because I'm at the point where I'm ready to get on a plane, and square off with him.
Yeah, I think he replied one more time, just saying he doesn't want you to hurt him, if I remember correctly. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to fuck with you myself, but you're calling him out on a daily basis. I mean, Bob Vance has to reply someday, or otherwise he will forever be known as a...
Right, and it's like have you seen, there's an old, I think it's from a Spider-Man comic, it's an old still frame of this, like a rubbish bin and like a costume draped over, and they're walking away looking upset. The day that man dies is going to be the day that you see like my wrestling gear draped over the rubbish bin, and I'm canceling this, I'm canceling the app, I'm done.
There's so many artists out there, right? Because Mars is going to share it as well. Any of my followers or Mars followers just want to just do some concept art for what Mars just said and described, that would be fucking fantastic. Because that is a t-shirt right there. Pro wrestling tees. To be fair, Mars, you're pretty good yourself now on Photoshop. Because I know you was kind of like dipping your toes in it when we last spoke, but now I see, pretty much a graphic like every few days, and some of it's very funny, to be fair. And you do your own editing and your own videos as well. So I think you've got to do it, Mars. I think you've got to do it.
I'm not real good at, drawing and all that. I might have to get my missus in on that. She's pretty good with that.
Start with the stick, man. So you showed off your tattoos last time, and I'm obviously a big tattoo person. Sometimes a lot of people can see them when I'm stretching my arms, whatever. I want to ask you if you've got any more tattoos, or do you have any plans to get any more ink?
Definitely some plans. When the lad is born, I'm going to get, something towards that. Probably in the next few weeks, I plan on getting like a little lantern or something, R.I.P. Bray Wyatt, who's
That'd be cool.
Huge supporter of him. I don't really remember what I've gotten because it's been a few years. I've got
remember the Oasis one, the pipe one. That's really cool. That's awesome. That one's
I've had that one since I think 2018. But no,
that's how we started talking properly, by the way. Because I think when you mentioned about the pipe tattoo, then you showed it off, and then after that, because I think I told you, I don't remember if I told you during the interview, but I know we spoke about it after. I think I showed the picture of me and Piper just a year before he died, and I'm just smiling like a fucking idiot, just like, and then just since there, man, we just honestly just really clicked, and I've gotten to really know you, and I just think you're great talent and a great person, who will happily accept that he's a soulless prick, but it's just who you are, man. And I just think it's great. Normally, I would ask about the three dream dinner guests. You can pick past or present, but I'm not going to ask you that. I'm going to ask you something that will cater to the violent gentleman. Who right now are the three biggest wankers in the celebrity world currently alive?
Most of them are, American politicians.
Oh man, you do not hold back on the old bird app. No, sorry.
No.
You can fucking add him.
Say that again.
You can add him on that list if you want. Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's. I like to keep my account for now, so I'm gonna be.
Love you, Elon. I'm joking. If you somehow gets back to you, X is the way forward, mate.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them on my shirt, So, I would say the governor of Florida, is Florida, and this guy is just little man syndrome, 100%. Trying to rewrite the history books. Saying that the slaves were actually taught skills that would help them later. Instead of mentioning all the other stuff. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, it's insane. So him. I would say Val Venus. We already had our run in, and he stopped responding.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Did he block you in the end?
Oh, he stopped responding to me after everyone was like.
So if you tell the listeners, by the way, about your interaction, so can I call him WWE legend? Former wrestler Val Venus, Sean Morley, whatever you want to call him, just Mr. Conspiracy these days, had an interaction with the violent gentleman, Miles Blackwell. I was in support of you. Let the listeners know what actually happened and just how it came about.
I think he was mentioning something. He was saying something transphobic. And here's the deal, I'm a lot of things. I'm a heel, I'm a villain, I get all that, but Blackwell is for everyone. And he was saying some transphobic things, so I called him out on it. And I guess he saw my bio and said, of course, you've got pronouns. And we're kind of going back and forth. And, I basically reduced his entire career to, getting his willy chopped off on TV. And it's like, you had opportunity after opportunity in front of millions of people every week. And that's all that people remember you for.
Yeah.
And it's always the irrelevant celebrities that have the most shite takes.
Fucking Rob Schneider. What the hell?
It's another one, man.
Hey, like, of all people, right? I'm not saying, like, okay, if you fit this agenda, you are entitled to say it. I think they're all assholes, right? But Rob Schneider, of all people, right, to just become like this right-wing nut and just really going for, like, the transgender community, and just oh my god, it's like, mate, you were literally in a film pretending to be a woman. Fuck off.
Correct. Yeah.
And that film was bad.
Correct. So we've got the governor of Florida,
Yep.
Ron DeSantis.
Oh, you hate him.
So much, man. I mean, how stupid you got to be to try to take on Mickey Mouse? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this man is suing Disney, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding. Let's just let it go." And they're like, "No."
Disney like bring it on.
Yeah.
South Park fan, just and Miles is as well. I can just tell.
So let's go. Ron DeSantis, Val Venus, and I was gonna mention someone that used to wrestle for CCW, but you said celebrity, and this wank is absolutely irrelevant, so I'm gonna leave his name out. I just will say that no amount of attitude and leasing supercars that you can't actually afford make you a good wrestler. Let's go ahead and put that out there. But having said that, I would say, I don't know, man. I can't think of anyone. I can't think of a third one.
Hello there. I've got a special announcement for my next guest.
Hi, this is Eddie Edwards from Impact Wrestling, and I will be appearing on What Do You Call It podcast. Tune in, follow along, and listen to me speak.
Yeah, I heard. I don't mind like being like sort of tongue in cheek and having a laugh when it comes to wrestling, because I think us as a wrestling community, not just the wrestlers, but us fans, we do kind of just wind ourselves up and take some of this shit way too seriously. Like there is more to life. Did you smile ear to ear right there? Just thumbs up. Just confirms my point that I'm making. Like we just take so much way too seriously. There is more to life than wrestling. It really is. But some people are just like, you don't like that? Well, fuck you then. Oh, I didn't enjoy that, man. Fuck you then. You're blocked. Go kill yourself. Like fucking hell. Like calm the fuck down.
Yeah, you get it a lot more than I do. I don't know if just people just don't want to interact with me, but I mean, there's people that come at you for absolute nonsense.
I know. It's been all right. Last month or so. It's been all right. But I've had people like, just because I do the honest opinion stuff, right? And people are like, oh, you're just doing it to get like stuff. I mean, you see my followers. It hasn't gone up. I do it because I like interacting with the people. I like seeing the replies. And the majority of them are the same people that I interact with on a fairly daily basis that I actually get on really well with. And I find it quite interesting, people's takes and stuff. I mean, I've had to kind of hide some comments or even block people. I get honest opinion, but it doesn't mean to be a horrific person or just to use an excuse to be racist or sexist or something like that. I've had that.
Correct.
Probably the accounts, but yeah, just some people, man. Like, don't agree with you. Okay. Go away.
It's not that serious. I mean, there's some fan bases that I won't mention on social media because they're going to start showing up at your house with pitchforks and torches and all that tackle.
Things like I somewhat think you're joking, but there is that one nutcase out there that is capable of doing it just because you say something they don't like or agree with.
Correct.
It's frightening. It is fucking scary, man. It just makes you think, is this even worth it? Just being on his app. Like I know a lot of people shit on him, like Sean Ross Sapp. Like he must have to deal with a lot of like trolls and stuff. Like I mean,
loads, man.
You don't like him, just don't follow him, block him, whatever. Like, I mean, he's done no harm to me. It doesn't. Yeah. Him tweeting or tweeting about wrestling doesn't affect my life.
Correct. And you can't live in a world where you agree with everything that everyone says anyways. Yeah. Some of my closest friends, they'll say something and I'm like, don't really agree with that.
Well,
but we're still friends.
I can imagine you doing that. No, I can imagine you like, don't agree with that. Have some of that.
I love that the American audiences still have not caught on to that. Week in and week out. Just, to little kids.
I've noticed that.
It's the greatest thing ever.
You never get away with that family shows. Like you would get told to stop doing that or not booked. Obviously in America you get away with it because they're like, oh my God, he's so nice.
This man is very aggressively in favor of peace.
I really hope they don't listen to this interview now or just kind of like check out like halfway through so we don't give away this part that it doesn't actually mean peace. Just say no. Give away the magic. Give away the magic, Miles. Just before I wrap this interview up, there is one person I want to give a shout out to, Jimmy, who is a mutual friend of ours, wants to say hi to you. He's actually been to one of your shows. So if you are at CCW or any show that Miles Blackwell will be appearing, don't get your hopes up. He won't take a photo of you. He didn't do it to someone he actually likes and considers a friend. But he likes him and talks to him. Didn't take a photo.
Yeah, Jimmy's class. After the last show, after I defended my title successfully, thank you very much. I did roll out of the ring, go over to my missus, and took a picture with her, and a small little kid came up to me and said, "Can I get a picture with you?" And I said, "Absolutely not." And he got upset and ran to his mother. And
are we talking about Jimmy right now?
No, not Jimmy. No, it actually put my missus in a bad situation because she's like, "I'm sorry, I'm married to him. He's kind of mean."
And you're just like, you're worse than the Grinch, man. You're actually a dick, but like a lovable dick, if that makes sense, and if that can be said in a nice way. I think it can in this podcast, in this interview. But even if you have any kids, so even if you want to just get your hopes up, and if your kid is genuinely a Violent Gentleman Miles Blackwell fan, you can support him in different ways. You can just buy his merch and not piss him off, and thumbs up. That is it. Best way to stay safe. I'm going to wrap the interview up. There is one thing I know you want to clear up. A stable in the UK, group of lads that I'm friends with, the Violent Gentleman Society. Tommy Jackson is their leader. Group, really cool lads, actually, really cool, and female. Stacey's in it. Stacey Rose. If you just want to say your part, because I know infringement, gimmick, stuff like that. Obviously, there's no intention. I know you're actually a big, big fan of British wrestling. So I'll let you say your bit.
Yeah, man. I mean, just like professional wrestling has had multiple Nature Boys, Buddy Rogers, Buddy Landau, Ric Flair, and all that. It sounds like wrestling's got multiple Violent Gentlemen. And, I say all that to say this. I was not aware of them. I definitely wouldn't, nick someone's gimmick or nick someone's name, anything like that. I've got nothing but respect for them. I actually follow them on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. But I just want to clear that out. I'm not affiliated with them. So if I say something, I don't want that being tied back to them, getting them in some kind of, situation or trouble or anything like that. But again, nothing but love and respect. Yeah,
I've got nothing but love for them as well. I've had them all on now. And I actually think you'd be a good addition to them, a US import. I'll see if I can speak to Tommy and put a word in to kind of represent them from across the pond. See if we can get a little connection there. I think we can do something. But Miles, I want to thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute blast. Just a genuinely good catch up, and just a lot of swearing, which is great. But is there anything you want to say? Anyone you want to call out, or anything you want to plug? As we're now at the end of the interview.
Just follow me on Twitter, X Twitter, whatever you want to call it, the Bird app.
Shout out to Elon Musk.
At VG_Blackwell. Currently CCW heavyweight champion. Don't plan on losing it anytime soon. Even my last title that I no longer have, I didn't get beat for it. They made me relinquish it so someone else could get a chance to, hold some gold. Maybe I'll just take the tag titles back again, defend them on my own. I don't know. Having said all that, as far as calling anyone out, I am a fighting champion. Show up, bring it. But don't step in a ring unless you're ready to go, because I am the cardio king.
And you're still unpinned.
Still. Forever.
Awesome. And when we next speak again, who knows when, but I'm sure you're going to be unpinned. If you can give Miles a follow on his social media, it's definitely worth it. You won't regret it. You might even get a nice tweet back. Who knows? If you mention Blur, yeah, you kind of asked for it, whatever he throws your way. So, and also don't say I did it, because, I like shits there. It's great. It's just what I do. But no, Mars, thank you for coming on. It's been an absolute blast. Been wanting you on for a while, but we now got her in the end. If you can give him a follow, that'd be awesome. If you can like this video, subscribe to this account, and give me a follow on my social media handles in the description below. That'd be awesome. But there'll be more What Do You Call It podcast coming out very soon. You can find out when or who on my social media handles. Description below. Plugging that again. Just FYI. But nah, it's all good. I hope everyone, including you, Mars, has a great week. But for now, everyone, I normally do that, but I'm going to do this just because of the Violent Gentleman. Take care.
Greetings, Violent Gentleman Miles Blackwell here, doing somewhat of a different type of video than I normally do. Typically coming after Bob Vance of Vance Refrigeration, talking about how much better I am than Bryce Maddox, or just going on about Oasis. Having said that, I made a deal with a particular user on this app regarding holding up a sign at the AEW Wembley show, holding the sign that said something to the effect of Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration, fears Miles Blackwell. The deal that I made was that I would begrudgingly have to listen to a Blur song, which I'm not really looking forward to, but I'm a man of my word, so, you know, we're going to give it a go. I'm definitely going to take the necessary precautions to ward off the evil spirits that come through the speakers while that song is playing. I'm going to be reading my Bible. I'm going to be praying to my gods. I really would appreciate it if you would keep me safe during this traumatic experience I'm about to partake in. Even be repeating the mantras that keep me sane. Feeling supersonic, give me gin and tonic. Feeling supersonic, give me gin and tonic. Feeling supersonic. Now that all that's out of the way, let's give this a go, yeah?
Can be avoided if you take a route straight through what is known as. Tom's got Brewer's fruit, he gets intimidated by the dirty pigeons. They love a bit of it. Who's that couple marching? You should come down on your full blind, mate. Get some extra. Know what I mean?
That was absolutely difficult. Not sure if I could do that again. I've got no more words, really. So anyway, here's Wonderwall.
Maybe you're gone.